Hey guys, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different again. I'm going to go over different condiments because I love condiments. I love having different flavors in my food. And I'm going to go over vinegars and hot sauces. I've got 5 different hot sauces and 5 different vinegars here. These are just 2 of the most common condiments I usually use on my food. I love sour stuff. So yeah, vinegars are pretty much up my alley. These are all 5 different kinds of vinegars. And then I like spicy stuff as well. I think out of the all the different, the senses, the different tastes, I like sour and spicy. So yeah, for me, just gotta have sour food, gotta have spicy food. So how I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna taste it first, just the condiment, the sauce or vinegar and hot sauce straight up, and give you guys my opinion, my reaction. And then I'm going to be using it on a food, and I have popcorn here. I know popcorn is kind of like an unconventional choice, but it's a fairly easy food to put condiment on, and it's like something I can like taste. I can definitely taste the condiment, right? And plus it adds good flavoring to it. And I think in general, everyone knows what popcorn kind of tastes like anyways. So I think it's a good point of reference here just to use the condiment on popcorn and tell you guys how it tastes like. Yeah, obviously I can't show you guys exactly how it tastes like through a video, but I'll just explain how it tastes, I guess. Okay, start off with the vinegars first. So go over each of these vinegars. There's 5 different vinegars here, and yeah, like for many people, I think when they think of vinegar, especially like Americans and Canadians, like we think of just white vinegar, right? That's the standard vinegar that people just think about when you think of vinegar is a standard white vinegar. To me, that's like a very boring vinegar to use. It's just straight up vinegar and there's no flavoring whatsoever. It's nothing special about that. I have different vinegars here that actually have some flavor, and they're used for different things. So let's go over each one. Start with malt vinegar. So right now this is a bottle of Allen's original malt vinegar here. This, you can look up the price for this one. So let me see, this is okay. So this is pretty cheap. This is just $1.50 US probably. It's made by a company called Allen's. I think people will probably know Allen's for making juices and stuff, but yeah, they actually make vinegars too. Yeah. Yeah. So first to start off with Allen's malt vinegar here. This is only $1.50, I think. It's pretty cheap. And it's by a company that usually makes juices, but yeah, this is their malt vinegar. So malt vinegar is made from malted barley. That's what makes it different. Usually you would use malt vinegar on stuff like fries. At least for me, that's what I think of, because when I think of malt vinegar, I think of fish and chips. This is like primarily, I think it would be used on is fish and chips, like fried fish and fries is what I use it on. I think to Americans, putting vinegar on fries is kind of a foreign concept. But for Canadians and British, I think a lot of people do put vinegar on their fries. That's why when you go to a lot of fast food places up here in Canada, you actually find vinegar packets. I know, like for Americans, they might think that's crazy, right? You only see ketchup packets in America, but yeah, up here, just like in the UK, we put vinegar on potatoes and stuff and fried stuffs too. So I think this goes well with any kind of fried stuff, any kind of potato. I'm actually not going to just put the vinegar here. I'm just going to put it on the popcorn instead. I think it's too much just to basically to taste vinegar straight up, right? And then put a little bit on popcorn. Okay. Yeah, definitely got that malted barley taste to it. So I like malt vinegar a lot. I think it's definitely great on fried food. So yeah, any kind of fried food, use the malt vinegar. I would highly recommend it. I know to Americans it's kind of a foreign concept to put vinegar on fries and fried food, but yeah, definitely try it. I recommend it. I actually prefer it to putting ketchup on fried stuff, actually. Ketchup just makes everything taste really sweet, and I prefer sour. Alright, next up is apple cider vinegar. This one is from Nana Pia's. How much is this one? Let's see. Yeah, so next up is apple cider vinegar. This one is from Nana Pia's. It's organic. Costs about $4 US. And apple cider vinegar, now this is interesting because you can actually put apple cider vinegar on a lot of things. It doesn't have like a specific use case like some of these other vinegars. You can put in pretty much anything. I think in general that's considered quite healthy. So apple cider vinegar, yeah, it's kind of a health supplement. Like you can add it to pretty much anything. You can like add it to your stir fry. You can add it to your, I sometimes even add it to my tea when I make tea actually, believe it or not. I just add a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. Yeah, just you can add it to pretty much anything, any of your foods, soups, salads, yeah, stir fry, anything you can add apple cider vinegar to. It doesn't have a specific use case. Apple cider vinegar is more like used as a health supplement. So it's not, doesn't really have a specific food use case, but let's try it on this popcorn here. It's got the taste of apple cider vinegar. All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's like apple cider. So, yeah, if you're familiar with apple cider, then this is just a very sour, essentially, essence of it. So, yeah, overall, like if you like sour stuff like me, I think definitely you can put that in anything. Okay, next up is Qingqiang vinegar, also called Zhenjiang vinegar. This is also known as Chinese vinegar because this is the vinegar most Chinese people use, and you would use this for like dumplings, essentially. So yeah, put this on dumplings is what I mostly use this on, and you can put it on other Chinese foods too, but I mostly use this on dumplings. So this is a black vinegar, and it's made with glutinous rice, wheat bran. So it's mostly made with rice actually. So yeah, this black vinegar is what Chinese people usually use on their foods. And I remember having this a lot when I was a kid. My parents used to use this. Actually, whenever I thought of vinegar, I thought of the black vinegar. I'm gonna get a paper towel here. That's what I should have done before. All right, and let's check it out here. So the thing about Chinese Zhenjiang vinegar is that it tastes almost like it doesn't have molasses or anything in it, but yeah, definitely I can taste kind of a darker type of taste from this one. So it's hard to describe, but definitely the taste is very different from your from these other two vinegars. Kind of like a darker, almost molasses type of taste. So it's interesting, but it's sour, of course, because it's vinegar. So anyways, yeah, this is a very peculiar taste to it. I'm familiar with it, right, as a, from a Chinese family, but Zhenjiang vinegar, Chinese vinegar definitely has its own unique taste to it. To me, I use it with dumplings mostly, but you can use it with a lot of Chinese foods. Yeah, it has more of like a darker molasses type taste. Okay, next is, so the taste is very strong with this one actually. Compared to other vinegars, this is a pretty strong vinegar in terms of flavor. Next up I have rice vinegar from Mizcan. Rice vinegar is, yeah, this Xinjiang vinegar is from Gold Plum, by the way. I know some other brands like Pearl River makes some good ones, and Lee Kum Kee probably makes some good ones as well. But yeah, this one is from Gold Plum. Okay, yeah, so the Mizcan is a Japanese company that's been around for a very long time. A lot of like old vinegar companies from Japan. So yeah, rice vinegar is mostly used with sushi. So sushi rice and sushi is generally how people use this. I use it with my cooking as well. When I'm cooking stir fry and stuff like that, I generally tend to use yeah, some rice vinegar. Because rice vinegar doesn't have a strong flavor like this vinegar does, or even these other ones. Generally tends to have a kind of a lighter taste. So yeah, let's check out rice vinegar here. Okay. Yeah, this is a very light vinegary taste to it. So I would say that in terms of flavor, this is probably the least amount of flavor. It's still more flavorful than your standard white vinegar, but it's probably the least flavor compared to these other ones. So if you just want a very light vinegar to your food, I know this is mostly used with sushi and stuff, but you can add it to your cooking and it'll just impart a very slight vinegary taste, like a very slight sourness, and that's really it. This is a very light vinegar, so the taste is very light. This one, Zhenjiang, yeah, this is definitely the strongest so far. So yeah, the rice vinegar definitely, it just adds a little bit of a vinegary taste, but really not much. Okay, finally we have balsamic vinegar. This is Italian vinegar. They make it from Modena, Italy, usually. So it's called balsamic vinegar of Modena. And this one is by Giuseppe Giusti, and I actually bought this when I was in Italy. So yeah, this is usually used on salads as a salad dressing. But you can use balsamic vinegar for other things too. I think it's just mostly used for salad dressing. And it's made from fermented grapes. So this is a very different kind of vinegar than the other ones. Okay, let's try balsamic. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this one has a ton of flavor to it. Balsamic vinegar, maybe because it's made from fermented grapes, has a lot of flavor to it. And I think that's why it's used on salad dressing, because usually you have vegetables and it's a bit of a bland taste, right? You really want to add some flavor. That's why they use balsamic vinegar, because it does add a lot of flavor. All right, so out of this vinegar here, they're all for different use cases, but I would say the lightest vinegar, in terms of lightest flavor to strongest flavor, and it depends on your use case, right? The lightest one is definitely the rice vinegar. So rice vinegar you use on sushi, but in general, if you just want to impart a very slight sour vinegary taste, very slight, the rice vinegar would work. It's just a very small amount of flavor, so very light flavor to it. If you just want to add a very small hint of vinegar taste, then rice vinegar is the way to go. Next is probably apple cider vinegar in terms of flavor. You do get some of that apple cider taste, but it's honestly not one of the stronger vinegars. Like I even put it in my tea, right? A little bit in my tea, and it doesn't flavor it too much. Just adds a little bit of, dose of vinegar in there for that health benefit. Which I think does help you. Like I drink vinegar drinks a lot, and does help me lose weight and stuff. So yeah, I just think it's good for your blood pressure, and it's good for if you want to diet. So yeah, apple cider vinegar, a little bit of stronger taste than rice vinegar, but still not too strong. Like you can put a little bit in your foods, you won't notice it that much. Okay, next up in terms of flavor is probably the malt vinegar here. You can definitely taste that malted barley taste. I use it on fried foods and stuff. It's not going to overwhelm your food. It's just going to add, a little bit of vinegar flavor. Like this malt vinegar flavor is this kind of malted barley type of taste to it, and it's the sourness. So yeah, I like to use this on fried foods. It does give a little bit of that malted barley taste to it. But overall, it doesn't overwhelm the taste of the food, right? So it's just a good in-between flavor of vinegar here. It doesn't overwhelm too much, but at the same time, it's a little bit stronger than these other two. Okay, next, I think probably between these two, it's going to be the Zhenjiang vinegar. It is strong. This one has a strong, kind of hard to describe, but I would say more like molasses type of vinegar. Doesn't have it in it. It's actually made of rice, but to me, yeah, it just kind of has that a little bit darker taste to it. Definitely a strong taste though. You'll definitely feel that vinegar flavor, and the flavor of this vinegar is very unique and peculiar. Yeah, I think if you really want to add a stronger vinegar flavor to your foods, it doesn't completely overwhelm the food. Like I can use this with dumplings, and I'll definitely feel the flavor, but it doesn't completely overwhelm it. It's almost like malt vinegar in that sense, but it's a little bit stronger taste than malt vinegar. But yeah, I think use this for dumplings and everything. It works well. I mean, it definitely adds some flavor to the dumplings, but doesn't overwhelm it too much. So, and finally, we have the balsamic vinegar, which you should only use sparingly, because balsamic vinegar has very strong flavor to it. This is the strongest flavor vinegar out of all these. Like you can clearly taste the fermented grape type of feeling, and that's probably why it comes in like a smaller bottle usually. Like balsamic vinegar is like you're only supposed to use it in like small like doses, I guess, on your salads. Just like sprinkle it like lightly on your salads and stuff, because you don't want to overwhelm the flavor of your foods. But I know why they use it on salads, because like salads are pretty bland if you don't use any kind of dressing. So this one definitely imparts a significant flavor onto your salads. You can definitely taste that fermented grape flavor to it. So yeah, definitely in terms of flavor, the balsamic is the strongest, and then Zhenjiang, and then yeah, malt vinegar, so in the middle, apple cider, and rice vinegar. Sorry, I didn't talk about the prices out of all these, but it really depends on the size of the bottle too, of course, right? Like the Zhenjiang one is just bigger bottle, so it's going to cost more. But vinegars in general, not too expensive. Like this organic one might be a little bit more, but in general, you can find these vinegar bottles for like $2 to $5 from the supermarket. So none of them are like really too expensive. Yeah, I would say in terms of volume, the balsamic is probably the most expensive by volume because this one's also fermented grapes, takes a while to make. Yeah, especially if you get the traditional one, then it's aged and stuff. But these ones, yeah, these are, I think in general, these ones should all be fairly cheaper, and the balsamic might be a little bit more expensive depending on how it's aged. But yeah, overall, it's $2 to $5 probably for all of them. All right, so that's the vinegars. I love my vinegars, so I just had to do a comparison taste test of that.